Hey everybody, it's Hammerhead Cubing. Today I'm going to go over the beginning speed cubing method. I won't be teaching it, but I'll kind of be going over what it is and what you need to know before you learn it. Okay, so to learn the speed cubing method, you have to first know three things. The first thing that I'm going to go over is solving the Rubik's Cube. Now, I'm not going to go over exactly how to solve it. If you don't know how to solve it, watch my tutorial on how to do that at the Hammerhead Cubing page. I'm going to kind of go over and make sure you're doing what is beneficial for learning cfop. Also, I'm going to go over notation, so what a R move and a U move are, and kind of how to learn algorithms and stuff like that. And then I'm going to go over what cfop is and why it is so much faster than any other method. Starting off with how you solve the Rubik's Cube. So to learn cfop, you have to already know how to do layer by layer method. And if you're doing that, great. So what you do is you start with the white, you make a cross on the top. Okay, so you have all the across and all of the edges are lined up. And then what you do is insert all the corners like so. And then you go through and you find the edges that go in there and you do the algorithm to put the edges in. And then you use one algorithm to go through and solve the top face, and you repeat that algorithm until it's solved. And then you use two algorithms, the first one to solve the edges, and then the second one to solve, the first one to solve the corners and the second one to solve the edges. So if you are solving the cube like that currently, great. This is a perfect method for you, cfop. It's not going to be much different. You're just learning some new algorithms and a new way of putting in the corners and edges. But if you can solve the Rubik's Cube and you are not solving it like that, I suggest you learn that before you go to learn cfop, because it's going to be a lot easier if you already know how to solve the cube layer by layer. The second main thing you need to learn about the Rubik's Cube before you learn layer by layer, or cfop, you need to know notation. So you need to know what an R move is, what a U move is, and all that. So if you already know notation, then skip to that time right there. If you do not know, then stay in and watch, because I am going to go over what notation is. So notation is where you have kind of a letter for each side of the cube, and depending on the letter, that's what move you're going to do. So for algorithms, they'll have so you don't have to see somebody do this move, then this move. It'll just say R, U, R prime, until the algorithm is done. And you can just go off of that instead of having to see somebody do it until you have it memorized. So it's a lot easier to memorize algorithms, and some people don't even show you the algorithm, they'll just tell you it if you're learning that method. So it is very good to know notation. So first one, I'll have white on top and green in the front. So what we have here, front is F. F for front. Right is R. Left is L. Back is B. Top or up is U. And down is D. So you might be wondering, like, well, which move is which? If this is F, what is this? And how do you know this is F? Well, each move is going to be clockwise. So if it says U, you're going to be going up, so the top face, and you're going to be rotating it clockwise. So this is clockwise, so we're going that way. Now, if it has a little quote on one part of it, that means that it's read as U prime. So you go the opposite way, counterclockwise. So if it's prime, it is the opposite of clockwise. So you're going counterclockwise for U prime and clockwise for U. And that is going to be the exact same with all of it, but it gets kind of confusing because it's clockwise if the face is towards U. So F clockwise is here, but B clockwise would not be here because if you're facing B, it's this way. So this is B and this is B prime, which might be a little weird, but you'll get used to it. Also, L, since R clockwise is going up, L clockwise is going down. So L prime is up and L is down, and then R is up, R prime is down, and then D clockwise is that way. So this is a D move, this is D prime. So that's notation. It's pretty easy once you learn it. You'll have to get used to it because when you're doing speed solving scrambles, you have to know notation because it'll tell you to do these moves to scramble it. And also for memorizing algorithms, it is really nice. So you can just write down the notation and then you'll be able to just read off of it and do the moves. So if an algorithm is like R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U2, R prime, or something like that. Any algorithm, it's very easy to memorize if you know notation, and it is very beneficial if you're looking to get fast at cubing. Last but not least, we have cfop. It is a method that's very similar to layer by layer. Technically, it is a layer by layer method, but instead of starting with, white, and doing that whole layer, and then the second layer, and then the yellow, and then the edges, you actually do the first two layers at once, and then you go to the top layer and you'll solve yellow in one algorithm if you know the advanced, and two algorithms if you're doing two-look or beginner cfop, and then you'll solve all the edges in either one or two algorithms depending on two-look or one-look. So I'll kind of explain what the cfop stands for. Four things. The C stands for cross. So you start and you solve your cross like you normally would. Okay, so I have the cross. And then F in cfop stands for F2L. And F2L stands for first two layers. So you do the first two layers all at once. So instead of just inserting the one, I inserted the edge with the corner. So there's a specific algorithm for each one. I have this and this go together, and I use that algorithm to insert them in. I have this edge and this edge. I use that algorithm to insert them in. This edge and this edge. Now there's so many different cases that, in my opinion, it is easier to learn how to insert them instead of each algorithm. And then you go to the top and you use 1 to 2 algorithms depending on what you know to solve the top, no matter what case there is. And then you use 2 algorithms or 1 depending on what you're learning. So 1 to solve all the edges and then 1 to solve all the centers. Now some of these algorithms are repetitive and like something that you already know from just knowing how to solve the Rubik's Cube layer by layer. For example, to solve the corners, if you have a pair of headlights, you just already know that algorithm, the A-perm, and you'll be using algorithms that you already know, and you'll be learning lots of new ones. So, yeah, that's cfop. You're doing the cross, all the F2L pairs, the top face, and then the edges on the top face. That's, you may think, well, yeah, I know how it's fast because you're inserting these at once. So instead of doing just, let's say we have a pair like this, instead of just going and inserting that part, I'm inserting both. And then in the top, it'll take me 1 to 2, 1 algorithm here, and 2 algorithm here, and then 1 to 2 algorithms, 1, too. So you'll be learning a lot more algorithms. I think there's 7 new ones for the yellow face, and I'm not sure how many new ones you have to learn for the edges. I don't consider F2L algorithms. It's all about how you look at it. JPerm has a very good descriptive video on how to understand F2L. I watched that one when I was learning, and it was really hard to get a hang of, but he was the one who explained it the best. I'm also going to be posting a video on how I think will be explained very well, in my opinion. Of course, that's how I would understand it, and different people understand differently. So I definitely recommend JPerm's video on that. Yeah, so I will be doing a video on the cross, a video on the F2L, a video on 2-look, and 2-look for the edges. And that's it for this video. That's what cfop is. That's what you need to know. And stay in tune, because I will be doing the beginner speed cubing method of cfop. I will be posting those in separate videos. So stay in tuned, and thanks for watching.